Yeah, so you definitely want to make sure that the products you consume are vegan and not tested on animals. In case you don't know, shelter animals, the cats and dogs that are euthanized in animal shelters, often end up in rendering facilities. And this is what they do with animal remains, even from cats, even from dogs. Um, Soaps, cosmetics. Yeah, another reason why you need to make sure that the soap you're using, the makeup you're using is vegan and not tested on animals, because if you're consuming products that contain animal byproducts, like makeup, my makeup is definitely vegan and definitely not tested on animals. But if your makeup isn't vegan, if it contains animal products, it could actually contain fats from dogs and cats. Because those animals at those animal shelters, when they get euthanized, they the remains often end up at rendering facilities. And this was taken off of the Vernon rendering facility in California. This is right on their website. This is what it states right on their website, that they have animal byproducts that come from supermarket meat and animal remains, as in dogs and cats from animal shelters. And they repurpose these materials into things like your makeup and your soap. So yeah, make sure that you're always consuming vegan products and products that are not tested on animals. Yep, because if your makeup is not vegan, if your soap is not vegan, if your deodorant is not vegan, if your toothpaste is not vegan, it could actually contain the remains of euthanized cats and dogs. So yeah, go vegan and pay a visit to your local animal shelter and adopt a cat or a dog, or a cat and a dog. There are thousands of animals in shelters right now that are going to be executed very soon because they're homeless. So why not go vegan and save a cat or a dog from dying, and save a lot more animals, like the cows and the pigs and the chickens and the fish from dying over a needless meal? I mean, you could very easily just substitute anything and everything with something plant-based that's much healthier, much more environmentally sustainable. Well, yeah, those animals that you're eating aren't clean, in case you don't know. So, like, even if into those animal products you're consuming, I mean, the fact that they're living in like pure filth, that should turn you off, especially if you think you're clean. Like, your food literally marinates in shit. These are the standard conditions that pigs are kept in, chickens are kept in, turkeys are kept in. Yeah, most of these animals being raised for their flesh and secretions are literally kept in overcrowded, shit-filled sheds. In such deplorable conditions, these animals have to be given antibiotics just to keep them alive long enough to make it to the slaughterhouse. And this person was saying, oh, at least I'm clean. At least I'm clean. Well, your food's not clean. Your food's not clean, so it's hard to believe there's like not more pandemics, you know? That's what's like mind-blowing to me. Not just the fact that, you know, so many people could just turn a blind eye to this atrocity, but the fact that, you know, people are so conditioned to consume animal flesh and animal secretions that they can look at this and still continue to eat the flesh of these animals. Like, your food literally marinates in shit for 6 months. These pigs are kept in these overcrowded, shit-filled sheds for 6 months in such filth. They literally have to be given antibiotics to keep them from dying. Well, I did not stop eating pork. I did not stop eating beef. I didn't stop eating chicken because I did not like eating those things. I stopped eating those things because I saw what was being done to those animals. And, you know, I don't think an animal should have to be put through a fucking living hell just so I can eat a meal. And guess what? I still eat delicious foods. In fact, the foods I eat now are even more delicious. Yeah, the plant-based meat alternatives are most often better. Like the plant-based chicken nuggets, I think taste better than the actual chicken nuggets. I mean, imagine that. Imagine nuggets made from a bird that marinated in a shit-filled shed for 6 weeks. Imagine that. That's just like so hard to believe. Yeah, the plant-based alternatives are typically even better. My husband now, he puts some oat milk in his coffee, and he can't even, you know, and I've heard other people too. Like, once they start using the plant-based oat milk, they can't go back to regular milk. It says it just tastes nasty. So you're just so used to consuming those things. You know, you've been doing it all your life. So you're just used to it. But once you open up your mind and you start trying the healthier, the more earth-friendly, animal-friendly products, you'll see they're better in every way. They're better in every way. And they don't clog your arteries, don't increase your risk for cancer. Yeah, I had a plant-based burger. It was delicious, and it's a lot healthier and a lot more environmentally sustainable, and nobody had to die for it. So all kinds of plant-based burgers. And you can make your own. Even right here on this app in the search box, just put a search for vegan recipes. You'll come across endless vegan recipes right here on TikTok. So just do a search for plant-based burgers. Come across all kinds of ways to make plant-based burgers. Or just go to your local grocery store and you'll see there's tons of different plant-based burgers in the frozen food section. And 365 is a Whole Foods brand. Their plant-based burgers are really good. It's like only $5 and you get 4 patties. People are like, oh, vegan food's so expensive. Well, I don't think $5 for 4 plant-based burgers, I don't think that's expensive. What is expensive is like heart disease, cancer. That's extremely expensive. And the more meat, dairy, and egg products you consume, the more risk you have of getting cancer, heart disease, kidney disease. Yeah, plants are living. Plants are living. That's another reason to go vegan. Because more plants have to be killed to feed the animals that you eat. And animal agriculture is the leading cause of deforestation. So think about what that means for plants as an acre of land is cleared every single second. And it's mainly to graze and grow food for livestock. Like most of those fires in the Amazon were intentionally set by cattle ranchers because it's a quick and easy way to clear the land to graze cattle. And if you truly care about plants, not only should you go vegan, but you should become a fruitarian because no plants are harmed for fruits, nuts, or seeds. And yeah, this is how most chickens are kept. Most chickens being raised for their flesh and, yeah, even the eggs are kept in overcrowded, shit-filled sheds. And these sheds are not clean during that whole 6 weeks that these broiler chickens are being raised for their flesh. They're not cleaned until they're sent off to slaughter. Then they clean the sheds and put fresh litter down and then bring the new flock of birds in to raise for 6 weeks without cleaning these sheds. So this bird here is crippled. This bird can't even move. And this is common in the poultry industry, that these birds, even turkeys, they are bred to grow so fast and so large that a lot of these birds end up crippled because their bones can't support the weight. It's so abnormal. So this bird will just either lay there and die a slow death, or in the morning, a worker will come through and wring their neck and throw them in the garbage. And if you were to go into these sheds with these animals, the ammonia would literally burn your eyes and burn your lungs. These birds, they have eyes, they have lungs. Their eyes, their lungs are burning 24/7. And their skin is burning too. Like this one here is just laying in filth. Urine, that burns their skin too. And these birds are treated like shit. All of these animals, the pigs too, the turkeys too, even cattle raised for beef. Most cattle raised for beef are literally on shit-covered feedlots that are just nothing but dirt and shit. So even though they're out in the open, they still don't even get to breathe fresh air. These animals are treated like shit. They're forced to live in shits. And then you spend a few minutes eating them and you literally turn them into shit. Just to eat products that literally increase your risk of heart disease, cancer, diabetes, kidney disease, causing another pandemic, and destroying the planet in the process. Because in case you don't know, animal agriculture is the leading cause of deforestation, species extinction, water pollution, water depletion, ocean dead zones, ocean plastics, fisheries depletion, pandemics, world hunger, and climate change. Where am I getting this info? Well, here's one place. Of over 40,000 farms, and concluded that animal agriculture is so environmentally destructive, going vegan is the best way to save the planet, and that if the world went vegan, land totaling the size of Africa could be freed up, because that is how much land it takes to graze and grow all of the food that is needed to feed all of these ceaseless tens of billions of animals to keep up with the demand for animal flesh and animal secretion. So this is from Oxford University. We face 3 epic defining environmental problems: climate, extinction, and pestilence. Our climate is changing in ways that will have serious consequences for humans, and it may even profoundly affect the ability of the planet to support life. All around us, other species are disappearing at a rate between several hundred and several thousand times the normal background rate of extinction. The COVID virus, which has wreaked social and economic havoc, is merely the latest model of a blossoming production line of newly emerging infectious diseases, many of which have the potential to be far worse. At the heart of these problems lies an ancient habit: eating animals. This habit is the most significant driver of species extinction and of newly emerging infectious diseases, and one of the most important drivers of climate change. This is a habit we can no longer afford to indulge. Yeah, that's coming from Oxford University. Researchers at Oxford did an extensive study of over 40 of Africa could be freed up. And even Albert Einstein knew that animal agriculture was not environmentally sustainable and that eating animals was immoral. And this is a quote from Albert Einstein: "Nothing will benefit human health and increase the chances for survival of life on Earth as much as the evolution to a vegetarian diet." And no, eggs do not come from vegetation, and no, Dairy products do not come from vegetation, so he's talking about a strict plant-based diet. Yeah, he did. This is a quote from Albert Einstein. Just look into it. You'll see. Yeah, Sir Isaac Newton too. He also, here, let me pull up a quote by Sir Isaac Newton. Right here, so I'm going to pull that quote right up for you. It is certainly preferable to, let me see, I can't read the whole thing there. Just, let me pull it up here so I can read the whole thing. What about my lipstick? It's vegan and it is absolutely not tested on animals. Contains no, oops, goes my stand. I need a new stand. Okay, so here I got the quote up here so I can read it because it's blocked on my screen. Okay, so it is certainly preferable to raise vegetables, and I think therefore that veganism is a commendable departure from the established barbarous habit that we can subsist on plant food and perform our work even to advantage is not a theory but a well-demonstrated fact. Many races living almost exclusively on vegetables are of superior physique and strength. There is no doubt that some plant food, such as oatmeal, is more economical than meat and superior to it in regard to both mechanical and mental performance. Such food, moreover, taxes are... Did I just skip over something? Because I think, yeah, this is a longer quote than the one here on this screen. So eating oatmeal is more economical than meat and superior to it in regard to both mechanical and mental performance. Such food, moreover, taxes our digestive organs decidedly less, and in making us more contented and sociable, produces an amount of good difficult to estimate. In view of these facts, every effort should be made to stop the wanton and cruel slaughter of animals, which must be destructive to our morals. So, yeah, Nikola Tesla, Sir Isaac Newton, Albert Einstein, Leonardo da Vinci, Socrates, Pythagoras, Plato, Plutarch, all abstained from eating animals because they knew it was immoral and unhealthy. The Bible verses that you use are way out of context. Well, God should be in your heart. God should be in your heart. So you shouldn't need to look to a man-made book to guide you towards God. God should be in your heart. You should know right from wrong. You should very easily understand that it is wrong to this is not being done out of any kind of nutritional need, okay? In fact, the more meat, dairy, and egg products we consume, the more risk we have of heart disease, cancer, diabetes, kidney disease, cerebrovascular disease. So yeah, it just blows my mind that Christians want to use the Bible to justify abusing and torturing animals. And in case you don't know, the very first step in producing animal products is, well, they call it artificial insemination. All you have to do is just look up artificial insemination of cows, pigs, chickens, fish, turkeys, even bees. Yep, for honey, they're even doing this to bees. There are instructional videos put out by the beef industry, the dairy industry, the poultry industry, the salmon industry, the honey industry, on how they collect the semen for that so-called artificial insemination process that they use to force the animals to reproduce. They literally masturbate the male animals, forcing them to ejaculate. That is sexual assault, and it is bestiality. So you should look at what your Bible says about bestiality and what the punishment for bestiality should be. And you'll see that you should absolutely not be purchasing any products off a store shelf if they come from animals, because you're literally supporting bestiality. Yeah, I'm not saying that the farmers are literally doing this for sexual gratification. I mean, maybe some of them are, I don't know. But the fact that the farmer literally sexually stimulates that male animal and forces that male animal to have an orgasm, that is absolutely sexual relations between a human and an animal. Bestiality is sexual relations between a human and an animal. So it is absolutely bestiality. The very first step in producing animal products, they masturbate the male animals to force them to ejaculate, to collect their semen, to force it into that female animal, that unconsenting female animal's vagina, to impregnate her, to force her to reproduce, like to make the baby piglets that they fatten up for their flesh. So yeah, stop using the Bible to justify this. I mean, this is insanity. And these animals are literally mutilated. The pigs have their tails cut off. They have their teeth clipped, their ears clipped. The males are castrated. All of this without any anesthesia. They're forced to live in these overcrowded, shit-filled sheds for 6 months in such deplorable conditions. They have to be given antibiotics just to keep them alive long enough to make it to the slaughterhouse. Just so you can sit down for a few minutes and eat a meal that literally increases your risk for heart disease, literally increases your risk for many forms of cancer, especially colon cancer, stomach cancer, prostate cancer, breast cancer, and all the while destroying everything your God created in the process, because animal agriculture is in fact the leading cause of deforestation, species extinction, water pollution, water depletion, ocean dead zones, fisheries depletion, world hunger, pandemics, and climate change. Right now, there are 1 billion people starving, while tens of billions of animals being raised for their flesh and secretions are well fed today. They're certainly not well cared for, but they are well fed. Yeah, third world countries do sell their grains to the animal agriculture industry while their own people starve. So privileged people can eat meat and dairy products. So stop using your Bible to justify this atrocity. And like I said, it's just so weird that, thou shalt not kill doesn't resonate with any of you Christians when it comes to your food preferences. That just totally goes out the window. Thou shalt not kill means thou shalt not kill. I'm not a Christian. I'm not religious, but yeah, that absolutely resonates with me. Thou shalt not kill absolutely resonates with me, because I fucking sure don't want somebody coming along and killing me, taking my life from me. Yeah, I do believe in the golden rule. It's funny that the golden rule doesn't resonate with you when it comes to your food preferences. Thou shalt not kill doesn't resonate with you, especially when it comes to your food preferences. Genesis 1:29 doesn't resonate with you. But it's interesting that in line with Genesis 1:29 from the American Institute for Cancer Research, the National Kidney Foundation, the American Heart Association, a plant-based diet significantly reduces the risk of all of those very common and very deadly diseases. And Romans 14:21 doesn't resonate with any of you Christians. It is good not to eat meat. Isaiah 11:6-9 doesn't resonate with you. The wolf will lay with the lamb, and there will be no more harm. No, all you want to do all day is cause harm to these innocent creatures that have never done anything wrong to you over a taste preference. This is being done for, not because of any nutritional need. We absolutely do not need to eat animal carcasses to be healthy, especially animal carcasses from animals that literally marinated in a shit-filled shed for 6 months. We certainly do not need to consume the secretions that come from a bovine's infected udder to be healthy, to get our calcium. There are many plants that contain calcium. We don't need to eat the things that come out of a bird shit-encrusted ass vagina. And in case you don't know, one egg has over twice as much cholesterol as a Big Mac. Like, since when is eating a Big Mac healthy? Since when? Tell me. Let alone 2 Big Macs. Because, again, one egg has over twice as much cholesterol as a Big Mac. Certainly not a health food. Yeah, it's just weird how people want to come out and defend animal cruelty. It's just so weird. So weird. Yeah, thoughts on a rodeo. Well, how about putting a 4-year-old child in place of those animals in those rodeos and doing the same thing? Then tell me what you would think of the rodeo. You know, if they would have put a little kid in place of those animals and do the same thing to the little kid as they are doing to those animals in those rodeos. Yeah. Then tell me what you think of rodeos. All you have to do to determine if something is right or wrong is determine if you want that same thing done to you. If you want that same thing done to your child. If you want that same thing done to even your cat or your dog. And no, I don't think you would want your child or your cat or your dog to replace any of those animals in those rodeos and have the same thing done to those animals or to your child as is being done to those animals in those rodeos. It's wrong, it's animal abuse, and it should all be illegal. Hunting should be illegal, fishing should be illegal, animal agriculture it's all animal cruelty. All of it is animal cruelty. And if you put humans in the, like a hunter, like they see nothing wrong with hunting. But if you put a human in place of that deer, you would understand that's a crime of fucking murder. That's how evil that act is. That is how evil and demonic that act of killing that deer is. If you took that deer and replaced that deer with a human and did the exact same thing, that would be a crime of murder. It's like the most evil thing you can do. And that's what you're doing to those deer, and you actually think, oh, I believe in God, I go to church, and I love God and all of his creations, but I fucking murder them. I murder them, and I enjoy it. I love hunting. I'm going hunting this weekend, and I love hunting. Like, what the fuck? Like, get me out of this fucking Twilight Zone movie I'm in. I'm, like, trapped in the fucking Twilight Zone. I hunt and love fish. I love killing animals. Kill, but I love God. I go to church, but I'm pro-life, but I love to kill those animals. Yeah, I love to put hooks in their faces and drag them out of the water. Yeah, not catch and not release, though, Yeah, and those catch and release fish die, too, from the infections from those fucking hooks you put in their faces. And the stress of taking them out of their environment like you do. So any of you, but I catch and I release. You're still torturing those animals. And 50% of those catch and released fish end up dead because of what you fucking did to them. It's all animal abuse. All of it. You make no sense. To not be vegan makes no sense. To not be vegan makes absolutely no sense. Unless, of course, you're for animal abuse. Obviously, from these comments, a lot of people are like all for animal abuse. Unless you're for getting cancer, for having a heart attack and being put in an early grave. Unless you love seeing the earth being destroyed. Everything God created, the forests, the oceans, the rivers, the animals, everything being destroyed over this disgusting industry. And then people just want to fight so hard against going vegan, when going vegan is literally the best thing you can do. Going vegan is absolutely the best thing you can do. It's the best thing you can do for the animals, clearly, even the wild animals, because in case you don't know, millions of wild animals are intentionally killed every single year because, like wild American horses, they compete with livestock for grazing land. So they're literally annihilating the wild American horses over livestock so that cattle ranchers can maximize their profits. They're annihilating the wolves and the cougars and the bears and the bobcats and the coyotes and the foxes because those animals are a threat to livestock. And going vegan is the best thing you can do to significantly reduce your risk of heart disease and cancer. And it's the best thing you can do to help prevent future pandemics like swine flu and bird flu. And it's the best thing you can do to help fight world hunger. 1 billion people starving right now as tens of billions of animals being raised for their flesh and secretions are well fed today. They're clearly not well cared for by any means. I mean, they're literally left to live in a real life fucking Saw movie. Okay, so yeah, going vegan is absolutely the best thing you can do. The best thing you can do to save the planet, the best thing you can do for your own health, the best thing you can do for these animals, the best thing you can do for the wild animals, the best thing you can do to help fight world hunger, the best thing you can do to help prevent future pandemics. Going vegan is literally the best thing you can do. Literally makes no sense to be vegan. And in case you don't know, Nikola Tesla, Sir Isaac Newton, Albert Einstein, Leonardo da Vinci, Benjamin Franklin, Socrates, Pythagoras, Plato, Plutarch, all abstained from eating animals because they knew it was immoral and unhealthy. And I'm not even exaggerating. And researchers from Oxford University did an extensive study of over 40,000 farms and concluded that animal agriculture is so environmentally destructive, going vegan is the best way to save the planet, and that if the world went vegan, land totaling the size of Africa could be freed up because that is how much land it is needed to graze and grow food for all of these ceaseless tens of billions of animals that are being raised for their flesh and secretions. Like right now, there are about, I believe, 3 billion pigs right at this very moment being raised for their flesh. There's also about 20 billion chickens right now being raised for their flesh. There's also about 1.5 billion head of cattle being raised for their flesh. And God knows how many, 1 billion, 2 billion dairy cows being raised, and lambs and goats and sheep being raised for their flesh, even camels in some countries, dogs and cats in other countries. So it takes a lot of resources to feed these animals. These animals have to be fed day after day after day. Their body parts just don't magically appear on the store shelf. There's a whole process in producing these animal products that you are buying from your local grocery store. A whole awful, earth-destroying process. And the very first step, they call it artificial insemination, but it's absolutely not. Just look up that so-called artificial insemination process because there are instructional videos put out by the poultry industry, put out by the pork industry, put out by the beef and dairy, and even the salmon industry, even the honey industry. Yeah, they're doing this to bees too. They call it artificial insemination, but look at these instructional videos. Look how they collect the semen from the male animals. They literally force them to ejaculate. That is sexual assault, and it is bestiality because sexual relations between a human and an animal is absolutely bestiality. Doesn't matter whether or not that farmer is getting sexual gratification or not. The fact that that farmer is giving sexual gratification to those animals, sexually stimulating them, forcing them to ejaculate, and then forcing that semen into the vaginas of unconsenting female animals to force them to reproduce, to make those little baby animals munching on. Look up in your Bible, if you're Christian, what see that is absolutely a sin, and see what the punishment should be. Nobody, especially Christians, should be supporting the animal agriculture industry. Nobody should be supporting the animal agriculture industry unless you are for sexually assaulting animals. Unless you are for mutilating and torturing these animals for months just so you can sit down for a few minutes just to eat artery-clogging carcinogenic crap, all the while destroying the planet in the process. Every single second of every single day, an acre of land is cleared and it is mainly to graze and grow food for livestock. Here in the United States, every single minute of every single day, livestock produce 7 million pounds of manure, which is like 130 times more excrement than the entire U.S. population of humans produce each minute. Most of that excrement ends up in the rivers, which lead to the oceans, which leads to ocean dead zones. And in case you don't know, the fishing industry, 50% of the ocean plastics come from ghost fishing nets from the commercial fishing industry. So any of you out there, I'm a pescatarian, I'm doing my part. You're doing your part to destroy the ocean. So you just need to go vegan, and you need to go vegan right now. And in case you don't know, yeah, like the shampoo and makeup and stuff you buy, make sure that is vegan too. Make sure it's vegan and not tested on animals. Look at this. This is from a rendering plant in California. You know those cats and dogs that are euthanized at animal shelters? Yeah, oftentimes their remains end up at rendering facilities like this one in California. This is the Vernon Rendering Facility in California. This is from their webpage. And see what they do with the remains of animals, including remains of cats and dogs from animal shelters. Look at this. See, they turn them into pet food and soap and cosmetics. Yeah, they extract the fat from these animals and use them in your cosmetics, in your shampoo, in your soap. This is another reason why you need to go vegan. And you need to, like when you go grocery shopping, to make sure that those products you're buying, no matter what the product is, even toothpaste, make sure it's vegan. Make sure it contains no animal byproducts. Because if it does contain animal byproducts, that could actually be from a dead cat or a dead dog. And yeah, your leather, especially if it comes from China. If you have a leather handbag, leather shoes, a leather belt, that could possibly come from these rendered cats and dogs. But if it's coming from China, it's a made in China handbag, a made in China belt, a made in China pair of shoes. That leather could be dog skin. Yeah, absolutely. So you need to stop wearing leather. You need to stop eating animals. You need to stop consuming any animal products at all whatsoever. And, become a vegan and do it right now. And it's literally the best and easiest thing you can do. Right here on this app and TikTok, in the search box, just put a search for vegan recipes. You'll come across endless vegan recipes right here on TikTok. Hundreds of TikTokers who post vegan recipes. Give some of those people a follow. You will see it's so very easy to be vegan. And there's so many very easy and delicious vegan foods that you can make. If you don't like to cook, go to happycow.net. Put in your city. You can find vegan and vegan-friendly restaurants in any city. The grocery stores are filled with vegan products. All fruits, vegetables, beans, grains, legumes, nuts, seeds are vegan unless they're honey roasted. Stay away from that shit. Because, yeah, they're literally killing bees, sexually abusing bees. Like the first step, they literally squeeze on the abdomen of the male bee to force that male bee to ejaculate, to steal his semen, to force it into the queen bee, to force her to reproduce. Yeah, pretty bizarre. Even sexually abusing insects. And it might sound weird, but it's absolutely true, and it needs to stop. You need to stop funding the sexual abuse of anyone. Any sane person could agree with that. So you absolutely need to go vegan. And there's all kinds of plant-based burgers on the market. You could even make your own, again, right here in the search box. If you like burgers, just put plant-based burgers or vegan burger recipe, vegan chicken recipe, vegan fried chicken recipe, vegan lasagna recipe. Just whatever it is you like, just put the word vegan in front of it. You can see, you can very easily veganize just about anything and everything. There's even recipes to make vegan filet mignon, vegan bacon. Well, you can just block me if you have no interest in going vegan. Unfortunately, I cannot force you to go vegan. If I could, I absolutely would force you to stop hurting animals. I absolutely would force you to stop paying people to hurt animals. If I could, but I can't. You could very easily ignore me like you ignore the fact that you pay people to torture and kill animals. I mean, unfortunately, the animals can't ignore what you're paying people to do to them, but you could very easily ignore me. But I'm just here stating facts. Just get people to think, to reconsider what they're doing to animals, and let them know that going vegan is so easy. It's not this, people just think it's this weird thing to be vegan. Like, really? Like, it's really weird to, like, not eat dead animals? Like, really? You find that so weird that I don't eat dead animals, and that's just weird to you? I mean, would you, like, see a raccoon dead on the road and be like, yeah, well, it's Thanksgiving. Maybe I should have that dead raccoon at the center of the dining room table. You'd be like thinking like someone who would suggest that was out of their fucking mind. But you literally take a bird that literally marinated in a shit-filled shed for 12 freaking weeks and put that at the center of your fucking table for Thanksgiving. But if somebody would take a dead raccoon from the side of the road and put that at the center of your table for Thanksgiving, then that would just be like, then you'd like feel like a vegan feels. Like, what the fuck are you people doing? You're fucking all out of your minds. But like, that would actually make more sense. I mean, at least, the animal just died accidentally. The planet wasn't being destroyed in the process of that animal being hit by a car. So you'd actually be better off eating the dead roadkill. But no, you'd rather have an animal tortured, forced to live in a shit-filled shed, let that bird marinate in a shit-filled shed for 12 weeks, being pumped with hormones and antibiotics, then put that in your mouth. Oh my God. But yeah, people think I'm weird because I don't eat dead animals. People think I'm weird because I don't consume the fluid that comes out of a cow's infected udder. People think I'm weird because I don't eat the things that come out of a bird shit encrusted ass vagina. I eat healthy things, and I have to get my blood taken every other year and tested for my health insurance. And my blood work is like perfect. Never used to be. Not before going vegan. Now it's like everything is like almost straight down the freaking middle. Almost like dead on, as perfect as can be. And I'm 49. I'm not on any medication whatsoever. I don't even have to take pain relievers. See, I used to have to take Aleve because I have endometriosis. And I used to be in pain literally 12 days out of every single month for years. But within 3 months of eliminating, it is because, yeah, I don't think it's a coincidence because animal products are in fact the most inflammatory foods that you can consume. So yeah, when I eliminated those very inflammatory foods from my diet, the inflammation, the pain went away. So yeah, I eat beans and nuts and seeds and grains. Those are all very good sources of protein. And I'll admit, I do eat some of the plant-based meat alternatives, which those probably aren't the healthiest foods. I mean, you should basically try to stick to as close to a whole foods, organic plant-based diet as possible. But yeah, I do like my junk food. And tomorrow there's a veg fest here where I live. And hopefully that vendor better be there tomorrow. There's a vendor that sells vegan fried chicken made from oyster mushrooms. And I'm telling you, it is out of this fucking world. And I don't even like mushrooms. But this vegan fried chicken made with oyster mushrooms is awesome. Actually better than KFC. It is, truly. The only thing I really ever liked about KFC, because unfortunately there was a time I wasn't vegan and I did eat KFC, Yeah, the flavor was so good, but the chicken itself, I mean, yeah, can you imagine oh, that's so hard to believe. Like the chicken itself was so good. The flavor, herbs and spices. KFC's secret recipe, 11 herbs and spices. Herbs and spices are vegan. So that delicious KFC flavor is coming from the herbs and the spices that are vegan. So yeah, my food tastes just as good as your food, if not better, because my food is seasoned the same way. Except I'm not eating like animal carcasses from animals that literally marinated in a shit-filled shed for weeks and months. And this person, stop hurting plants. It's weird that you want to become a plant rights activist, but you don't want to be an animal rights activist. You know, animals have brains, emotions, personalities, just like, I think, just like we do, right? Like, I know I have a brain, a personality, and emotions. It's weird you don't want to advocate for these animals, but you want to either advocate for animal abusers or, you know, plants. But guess what? More plants have to be killed to fatten up the animals that you eat than would have to be killed to feed you directly. So yeah, if you truly care about plants, that is another reason why you need to go vegan. Because you would save a lot more plants from being killed if you were vegan. And animal agriculture is the leading cause of deforestation. So think about what that means for plants, as an acre of land is cleared every second, and it is mainly to graze and grow food for livestock. So yeah, if you truly care about plants, not only should you go vegan, but you should become a fruitarian, because no plants are harmed for fruits, nuts, or seeds. So yeah, plant-based chicken is yummy. You should give it a try. Stop being so close-minded. No, nothing I'm saying is false, but I'll block you because you're probably reporting me. See, these people just love to lie, because they don't want consumers to know the truth, because they know once consumers know the truth, they go vegan, because it literally makes no sense to not be vegan once you know the truth. Unfortunately, there are some people who just go into a state of denial. Denial is a defense mechanism people use when they don't want to face the truth for whatever reason. Maybe you're afraid to become vegan because you see how vegans get mocked and teased all the time, and you don't want that to happen to you. But it's like, grow a pair. Like, I have no problem. I could deal with people calling me anything. I know I'm doing the right thing. I would be crazy to not be vegan. So I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody says. It just makes me mad, though, that people like report my content to try to get me banned, because, you know, there are a lot of flesh farmers on this app. And yeah, anybody farming animals, you're a flesh farmer. So you should be called what you are. You're a flesh farmer. Even dairy farmers are flesh farmers, because, you know, all of the male calves born to those dairy cows on those dairy farms end up in a slaughterhouse at a fraction of their natural lifespan. Most of them are just a few weeks old when they're slaughtered for veal, for their flesh. And the dairy cows, too, end up in a slaughterhouse at a fraction of their natural lifespan. Around 5 years of age, when they can live over 20 years, when those dairy cows can no longer produce enough milk to be profitable, they're sent to slaughter. That's where ground beef comes from. Most ground beef, anyway. Ground up dead dairy cows. So yeah, the dairy industry, you know, is the meat industry. So yeah, dairy farmers are flesh farmers too. So yeah, unfortunately, there are a lot of flesh farmers on this app who want to silence people like me, because they know I'm making a difference. That's why you're reporting my content. Because if you didn't think I was making a difference, you could very easily just ignore me and move on with your life. But you can't. That's why you're here constantly lying and making your comments that I'm lying and that I'm spreading misinformation, because you want to get me blocked so that the consumers never know the truth. So they continue to consume the products that you're producing. And that's not right. Consumers do absolutely have the right to know the truth so that they can make educated choices. Because, yeah, there was a time when I used to consume animal products, and it was only because I didn't know any better. If I would have known better, I would have been vegan my entire life. I didn't go vegan until I was 42 years old. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why did it take me 42 years to know, like, the truth about the egg industry? Yeah, because that's when I went vegan. When I learned about the egg industry, it was like, what the fuck? I mean, the whole entire animal agriculture industry. The male chicks in the egg industry. And then that was it. It was like, I have to go vegan. At the hatcheries where all egg-laying hens come from, even the organic free-range egg-laying hens, they cannot determine the sex of these chicks until they hatch. So upon hatching, they sort the males and they put them through a macerator, which grinds them up alive because they're males. They don't lay eggs. And these are not the same breed used for meat. They do not grow quick enough or big enough to be profitable for meat. So they're ground up alive and disposed of. At some facilities, they might just throw them in the trash where they suffocate or, starve to death. But typically, they're put through a macerator. And this is standard practice around the globe. Now, I know that there's like some technology where now they're starting to like make these eggs hatch. I don't know if it's something they do, like they heat them or whatever. They do something so that the eggs all turn into like hens. And I think like maybe there's one or two facilities in Germany that are doing this now. But I'm sure those eggs are a lot more expensive. But this isn't happening in the United States yet. It's not happening anywhere else that I know of except for a couple places in Germany. But actually these birds might be better off being ground up alive as males as soon as they hatch, because those hens actually are put through a hell of a lot worse. The hens are literally forced to live in, most of them are living in cages where they can't even spread their wings. They're all crammed in. Their feet are all deformed because they're in these wire cages. Even the ones that are free range are still crammed into overcrowded, shit-filled sheds. And they're forced to produce so many eggs. Like in nature, a hen would only lay about 1 to 2 dozen eggs per year. But in the egg industry, these hens are forced to produce 200 to 300 eggs per year. So that puts an enormous amount of stress on their bodies, causing them to have all kinds of problems and increases their risk of getting certain cancers. And most of these birds, most of these egg-laying hens end up in a slaughterhouse at about 1.5 years of age. When those birds can no longer produce enough eggs to be profitable, they are sent to slaughter. They can live over 7 years. But in the egg industry, around 1.5 years, they're sent to slaughter. After they've been, some of these birds literally are starved, forced to live in the dark, forced to live in overcrowded, shit-filled cages, shit-filled sheds. They live no kind of life worth living. They're just used as egg-producing machines. And this whole industry is just vile. So even if there comes a day when they do away with the maceration of the male chicks, the egg industry is still vile, just still based on animal abuse, still based on the sexual abuse of animals. Because again, the first step in producing animal products, even eggs, so for the eggs, they have roosters that they collect semen from. They sexually stimulate that rooster, force the rooster to ejaculate. And again, if you think I'm talking crazy, it is crazy what they're doing to these animals. But there are instructional videos from the industry itself proving what I'm telling you. You should see how the instructional video on how to collect semen from a rooster. What they're doing to that rooster is obscene, disgusting, and it should be illegal because it is sexual assault. But they sexually stimulate the rooster, force him to ejaculate so they can take that semen and force it into the hen to fertilize her eggs so that those eggs hatch into the egg-laying hens that lay the eggs on store shelves. And this person, is your lipstick vegan? Absolutely. My lipstick is Bare Minerals that I have on right now. And it is absolutely vegan and not tested on animals. I also use Gabriel Organics. And in a couple weeks on Black Friday, I like to go on to 100% Pure's website and typically I just buy like lipstick from them. Their lipstick is vegan and not tested on animals. All their products are not tested on animals, but some of their products unfortunately do contain honey, I think. Beeswax. So I stay away from those products. I wish it was a completely vegan company, but I do like their lipstick. So yeah, Black Friday, I will be going to 100% Pure to buy some lipstick and maybe some moisturizer or something. But yeah, I always make sure it's vegan and not tested on animals. And most of their products are vegan and none of their products are tested on animals. So you work in the egg industry and you're saying that I'm lying. What am I lying about specifically? Please tell me. And tell me soon because I'm probably going to be signing off. It's like I got to start getting to bed at a decent time. And it's going like, well, it's 12:30 and I still have to take a bath. So you say you work in the egg industry and that I'm lying. You're full of BS. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so what am I lying about specifically? Please, just one thing. Just give me one thing I'm lying about, Mr. DK1984. I'll look for DK. Okay, I work in the egg. Okay, well, you already said that. I'm looking for DK1984 to tell me what I am lying about. What exactly am I lying about? What exactly am I lying about? Be a little bit more specific. You keep on saying the same thing over again. Now I might be backed up. Let me just go closer to the most current. The most current. Still don't see anything from this DK1984. The way we treat chickens. Yeah, you do put the chickens into overcrowded sheds that are not cleaned for like weeks. And those chickens all end up in a slaughterhouse at a fraction of their natural lifespan. Typically about a year and a half of age when they can live over 7 years. And you force them to produce like 200 to 300 eggs per year. And in nature, they would only be producing 12 to like 24 eggs per year. So of course, that's going to put a lot of stress on their bodies and cause them a lot of health issues. Now, I like the Joker bar. The Joker bar is vegan, and they used to sell it at Whole Foods, but not anymore. I really could go for a Joker bar, not a Snickers bar. The Joker bar is like a Snickers bar, but it's vegan. So no animals have to die. No little babies have to be stolen from their mothers and killed for it. Because, yeah, in case you don't know, anybody just tuning in, anybody, my eye is twitching. I don't know. I think I'm just. It's just, it breaks my heart because there's just so many animals. Like right now, this very moment, we are talking about tens of billions of animals suffering. Like there are approximately 20 billion chickens right at this very moment being raised for their flesh. And these chickens are all kept in overcrowded, shit-filled sheds. And they're bred to grow so fast and so large that a lot of these birds end up becoming crippled and can't even move. Can't move to get to the water, can't move to get to the food. So we're talking about billions and billions of animals suffering right now. And every single day across the globe, about 200 million animals are forced into slaughterhouses. Here in the United States, every single day, 30 million animals are forced into slaughterhouses. And these animals are baby animals. Pigs are just 6 months old when they're slaughtered. They can live over 10 years. Chickens are just 6 weeks old when they are slaughtered. They can live over 7 years. Even cattle raised for beef are only about 12 months. Maybe as old as 22 months, but most of them are closer to 12 months of age when they're slaughtered. They can live over 20 years. And in the dairy industry, in case you don't know, dairy cows do not produce milk because they're dairy cows. Like a lot of people think, oh, it's a dairy cow. That's just what they do. They produce milk. No, they are mothers. They are mothers. They are mothers. That is why they produce milk. That milk that those dairy cows produce is food for their babies, but their babies are stolen. As soon as those dairy cows give birth, their babies are stolen from them. On some farms, they will kill the male calves right away. But typically what happens is they do send them off to veal farmers who raise them for just a few weeks and then send them off to slaughter. And even if these male calves, and some of them too are females that they send off to be killed for their flesh. But even if these calves are sent to beef farmers, beef cattle are killed, again, like I said, between 12 to 22 months of age. So they're still very, very, very young. They can live over 20 years, but they're killed around 12 months of age. For you to eat a burger that, a plant-based burger is so much healthier, so much more environmentally sustainable. Doesn't make any sense to not be vegan, to not choose the plant-based options over the options that involve harming animals. And again, dairy cows do not produce milk because they're dairy cows. Dairy cows produce milk because they're mothers. As soon as they give birth, their babies are stolen. If those babies are boys, they're killed because the dairy industry has no use for them. And this behind me is a screenshot of an undercover investigation where they are slaughtering the male calves, taking off the dairy cows. You should check this video out. It's only 2 minutes. It's only 2 minutes long. If you Google Kinder World Calf Slaughter, you'll find that you'll easily pull this video right up. If you Google Kinder World Calf Slaughter, you should show this to your friends. You should show this to your family. Ask them if they knew that this was happening to these. I mean, this is mind-blowing. If you see what they're doing to these calves at this slaughterhouse, I just don't see how anybody can know that this is happening and not be vegan. I mean, there's plant-based alternatives to everything, especially dairy products. So yeah, there's absolutely no reason in the world why you should be supporting an industry that steals babies off of their mothers and kills them to steal their baby food to sell it to you so you can put cream in your coffee and milk in your cereal and eat a bowl of ice cream and eat a cheese pizza, when all of those things you can get in a vegan version. I still eat ice cream. I still eat pizza. I still put milk in my cereal. I just choose the plant-based milk, the plant-based ice cream, the plant-based pizza with the plant-based cheese. It's actually healthier. It's better for the planet. And it's obviously better for these animals. And yeah, it doesn't cause cancer. The plant-based cheese doesn't cause cancer. The plant-based ice cream doesn't cause cancer. But dairy products are carcinogenic. The casein in dairy is carcinogenic. And it's loaded with fat and cholesterol. That's not good for you either. It's not good for your heart. And there is a link between dairy products and multiple sclerosis, in case you don't know. So you should go vegan, and you should do it right now. And it's never been easier. Right here in the search box on TikTok, just put vegan recipes. You'll come across endless vegan recipes. Right here on TikTok, anything you like, just put the word vegan in front of it. So like if you like bacon, put vegan bacon recipes right here in the search box. You'll come across all kinds of ways to veganize bacon, all kinds of ways to veganize just about anything and everything. If you don't like to cook, go to happycow.net, put in your city, And you can find vegan and vegan-friendly restaurants in any city. The grocery stores are filled with vegan options. All fruits, vegetables, beans, grains, legumes, nuts, seeds are vegan. There's all kinds of plant-based burgers, even plant-based seafood on the market. Plant-based chicken nuggets. So you can still eat the same things you eat, just choose the vegan options. The vegan ice cream, the vegan burgers, the vegan bacon. If you love meat, do you also love killing animals? Would you work in a slaughterhouse? Would you work in a slaughterhouse? Would you work in a slaughterhouse killing these male calves? I mean, if you see nothing wrong with consuming dairy products, would you work in this slaughterhouse here, killing these male calves yourself? Since you like to consume dairy products, I mean, maybe you should have to kill these calves yourself if you think there's nothing wrong with consuming dairy products. Well, you know, the real life Hannibal Lecter was a woman from Australia. I think her name is Catherine Knight. The real Hannibal Lecter. And her dream was to work in a slaughterhouse, killing animals all day long. That was her dream job. And she got a job working at a slaughterhouse, slaughtering animals all day. And what happened? She moved from the animals to people. And she even slaughtered her own boyfriend and skinned him and butchered him and served him up on a dinner plate to his children. Fortunately, his children were out of town that day. But yeah, nonetheless, she did butcher her boyfriend. And really, it's not that hard to believe because, I mean, after all, it was her dream job to butcher animals all day long. Like, I just don't get it. How could you want to butcher innocent beings all day long? All day, every day. Like, I wouldn't even want to kill one single innocent creature at all. I mean, I can't even kill a cockroach. I mean, like, when I see a cockroach in my house, because I do live in Florida, and yeah, every once in a while I come across one of those little creepy crawly things. But yeah, I mean, I just put them in a jar and I put them outside. Like, it doesn't hurt me to you know, let that little creature live. So, you know, you just put yourself in the other's place. And would you want, you know, if somebody viewed you, like if aliens came down here and viewed you as some creepy crawly thing, which, yeah, seeing how most people live their lives, like, yeah, pretty creepy. How would you like if they did the same thing to you? Just squashed you like a bug. Just because they were bigger than you. And they thought you were creepy. And they couldn't relate to you. They didn't understand your language. Yeah, I'm not religious, but I definitely believe in the golden rule. And people who don't, I like to just stay away from those people. You can't trust those people. You can't trust people who discriminate. And that's what you're doing when you consume animal products. You're discriminating against animals. And in a pretty awful way, because these animals, like, literally end up dead. All these animals, like, all day long for every non-vegan product you consume. An animal is literally butchered. And even for dairy products, all of these male calves born to these dairy cows are butchered. So for you to eat ice cream, this little baby calf is butchered so you can have his baby food. And this person, let's see, they were put on earth for us to use. No, they weren't. No, they weren't. So why don't we eat like koala bears and panda bears and tarantulas? Like, why does other sentient beings have to be here for you to use and abuse for whatever you want to use them and abuse them for. That's just so egotistical and so untrue. God did not put animals here for us. In fact, farmers sexually violate animals to force them to reproduce. Just look up artificial insemination of cows, pigs, chickens, fish, bees. See how they collect the semen for that so-called artificial insemination process. The farmers literally sexually stimulate those animals and force them to ejaculate. That is bestiality. And I think that's a sin, a pretty serious sin, because I think it's actually, in the Bible, says it's punishable by death. So yeah, if you're Christian, you absolutely should be a vegan, and you certainly should not be consuming animal products, because you're literally funding bestiality, which is a fucking sin. I love plant-based meat. You can eat plant-based meat, and it's better for you. Not that, anything processed is, that good, but it's better than animal products. It's not going to be as unhealthy as consuming animal products. I mean, there's no cholesterol in it. It's not going to be nearly as acidic or as inflammatory as animal-based foods. Certainly better for the planet. Animal products are literally destroying the planet because very resource intensive. I mean, to fatten up all of these ceaseless tens of billions of animals, it takes a lot of land to graze and grow food for all of these ceaseless tens of billions of animals that are needed to keep up with the demand for animal flesh and animal secretions. So, and these animals all have to be given water to drink, the shit-filled sheds that the chickens and the turkeys and the pigs are housed in. Those sheds have to be clean. What do you think they clean them with? They have to clean them with water. If Jesus was alive right now, Jesus would be vegan. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thou shalt not kill means be vegan. Romans 14:21. It is good not to eat meats. Genesis 1:29 on the very first page of the Bible. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed to you, it shall be for meat. So God's dietary plan for us is to be vegan. The Garden of Eden was vegan. Isaiah 11:6-9. The wolf will lay with the lamb, and there will be no more harm. Funny that all you people want to do, all you phony Christians want to do, is harm animals all day, all night over sensory pleasure. These are all sins. Gluttony is a deadly sin. Sloth is a deadly sin. Yeah, so you're too lazy to go vegan. That's the sin of sloth. No, it's not amazing what you're doing to the animals. It's horrific. In fact, if you took these animals out of these slaughterhouses, off of these farms, and put people in their place, and did the same exact things, they would in fact be crimes of rape, kidnapping, theft, torture, and murder. And here you have these Christians trying to justify this devilish behavior by using the Bible. That's blasphemy. That is blasphemy right there. how are we going to eat? Fruits, vegetables, beans, grains, legumes, nuts, seeds, plant-based meat, plant-based milk. Again, it's interesting that in line with Genesis 1:29, from the American Heart Association, from the National Kidney Foundation, from the American Institute for Cancer Research, the more plant-based foods you eat, the less risk you have of heart disease, cancer, diabetes, kidney disease, cerebrovascular disease. The more animal products you eat, the more risk you have of heart disease, cancer, diabetes, kidney disease, cerebrovascular disease. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? That according to God's dietary plan in Genesis 1:29, a plant-based diet helps significantly reduce your risk of cancer and heart disease and kidney disease. Some of the most some of the most deadly diseases, and like the leading causes of death. And a plant-based diet helps significantly reduce the risk of those. Is that just a coincidence? Yeah, dear our people. Yep. Yep, all sentient creatures have personalities. They're people. Yeah, some animals eat people. So should we base our eating habits off of those animals that eat people? So should we eat people too? Because there are animals out there who eat people. Well, if you don't care, you don't have to be here. But actually, there are people who do care. Just because you don't care does not mean that everybody else feels the same way that you do. Now, maybe there are some other people who feel the way you do. But if you don't care, you don't have to be here. You don't have to be here. But yeah, a lot of people do care, and they do go vegan when they learn the truth. And that's what scares all of you flesh farmers that are on this app, is you see people like me here, and it's just driving you insane. Especially, like on my other account. The last few times I went live, my live streams got suspended. But I did that report a problem thing, those 3 bars at the top. I clicked on that and then went down, and then there's like a report a problem thing on there that I clicked on, and then it, report a problem with your live, and then it says live suspended. So I clicked on that, and then I, clicked on it again so that I can type like, hey, I just went live, and once again, I had people harassing me and falsely reporting my content. I'm here just to educate people about the standard practices of the animal agriculture industry. And guess what? They put my live feature back up. So yeah, they were going to suspend me for a whole week. But because I reported, clicked on that report an issue thing and then said I had an issue with my live stream and explained why I'm here and what I'm doing, they let me go back and use my live feature just like that. Then I went live again on that same account, and damn, so many people were falsely reporting my content. It got taken down again. And I'm like, shit. So I did the same thing, and guess what? They put it right back up. They said, sorry, we reviewed your content and it does not violate guidelines, so we restored your live feature. So there you go. Yeah, so you hate it. All of you flesh farmers hate the fact that I'm still here. Because I'm making a difference. I'm making a difference. That's why, I'm driving you crazy. Because people are going vegan because of people like me. Because that there are people, lots of people care. And when they learn the truth about all of these awful things happening to these animals to produce animal products, and especially when they learn that none of this is necessary, that in fact consuming animal products literally increases your risk of cancer and heart disease and kidney disease and cerebrovascular disease and even Parkinson's disease and multiple sclerosis, it literally fucking makes no sense to not be vegan. makes absolutely no sense to not be vegan. Unless, of course, you know, you love the fact that little babies are stolen from their mothers and killed so you can eat a bowl of ice cream. When there's literally like vegan ice cream that you could eat instead that's actually better for your health. Not that vegan ice cream is healthy, you know, because it's too loaded with sugar. But it's not going to be as unhealthy as ice cream made from cow's milk. No, I'm not. No, there's all kinds. So even if you did maybe try one vegan ice cream and you're like, oh, I wasn't. There's all kinds of vegan ice creams. And you can even make your own, like right here on this app, like I said, in the search box. Just do a search for vegan recipes. So you can do a search for vegan ice cream recipes. So yeah, there's all kinds of ways to make ice cream. All kinds of different brands of ice cream on the market. All kinds of plant-based anything and everything on the market. Just open up your mind and start trying some of these things. But like I said, the best thing to do is stick as close to a whole foods, organic, plant-based diet as possible, filled with fruits, vegetables, grains, beans, nuts, seeds. And even if you're gluten intolerant and you have a soy allergy, well, guess what? All fruits, all vegetables are gluten-free and soy-free. All seeds and nuts are gluten-free and soy-free, and all beans and legumes are gluten-free and even soy-free, except for the soybean. That's it. Just that one type of bean. That's it. All the other beans and legumes are soy-free and gluten-free. And all grains are soy-free. And even a lot of grains are gluten-free, like corn and rice and teff and buckwheat and quinoa. So yeah, so there's still even a lot of different grains you can still consume if you have a gluten intolerance. So yeah, you can still very, 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 very easily be vegan, even if you have a gluten intolerance and you are allergic to soy. There's still like endless vegan options to choose from that are soy-free and gluten-free. Vegan is absolutely not unhealthy. It is absolutely, you know, well, maybe, you know, if you're going to just eat vegan donuts and vegan cookies and vegan fried food all day, you know, obviously you probably aren't going to see a lot of health benefits. But again, if you're sticking to a mostly whole foods plant-based diet, you are most likely going to see significant health improvements, and you are going to significantly reduce your risk of heart disease and cancer and diabetes and kidney disease. Just watch What the Health, Eating You Alive, or The Game Changers, and look at what is stated on the American Institute for Cancer Research's webpage about plant-based diets. Look at what's stated on the American Heart Association's webpage about plant-based diets. Look at what is stated on the National Kidney Foundation's webpage about plant-based diets. And look at what is stated on the Mayo Clinic's webpage about plant. Let me pull it up for you. Because you're not going to do it. You're just going to say, oh, I'm getting tired and it is getting late and I want to get up in the morning and go to the Veg Fest and get my vegan fried chicken because it's so freaking awesome. But yeah, this is from the Mayo Clinic. The Mayo Clinic. You see it right up there? Researchers asked nearly 70,000 volunteers about their diets, then tracked them over time. They found lower cancer rates among people who didn't eat meat at all. In fact, vegans, those who don't eat any animal products, including fish, dairy, or eggs, appear to have the lowest rates of cancer of any diet. Cancer is like one of the leading causes of death. And right here from the Mayo Clinic, it appears vegans have the lowest rates of cancer of any diet. Vegans! It says vegans. Again, that's not coming from me. That's coming from the Mayo Clinic. So stop. they could be eating is being used to fatten up your food. Okay, now this is from the American Heart Association, or the American Institute for Cancer Research. So from the American Institute for Cancer Research, no single food can protect you against cancer by itself, but research shows that a diet filled with a variety of vegetables, fruits, whole grains, beans, and other plant foods helps lower the risk for many cancers. In laboratory studies, many individual minerals, vitamins, and phytochemicals demonstrate anti-cancer effects. And the foods that fight cancer from the American Institute for Cancer Research are all plant-based foods. Fruits, vegetables, berries, beans, grains, legumes, nuts, seeds. Even soy is on this list of foods that fight cancer. And the soy that is used in the plant-based meat alternatives is the GMO-free soy. The genetically modified soy is what they feed livestock. That's the soy I would stay away from. Globe. And this is what is stated on the American Heart Association's webpage. Whether you're considering eating less meat or giving it up entirely, the benefits are clear. Less risk of disease and improved health and well-being. Specifically, less meat decreases the risk of heart disease, stroke, obesity, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, type 2 diabetes, and many cancers. So from the American Heart Association, the less meat you eat, the less risk you have of all of these very common and very deadly diseases. Literally makes no sense to not be vegan. And another thing I want to bring up because I showed this at the very beginning of my live stream. This is another reason why you need to go vegan and make sure that the products you're consuming are vegan. Like even your shampoo, even your soap, even your makeup. Because look at this. This is from a rendering facility in California where, cats and dogs at shelters who have been euthanized end up. Yeah, like those cats and dogs often end up at a rendering facility. And what do they do with the remains of these animals? The animal remains. Well, they repurpose them into, look at all these things. Yeah, and right down here, pet food, soap, cosmetics. So yeah, if your cosmetics that you're using, if your soap, if your shampoo, if your deodorant, if your toothpaste contains animal byproducts, that could actually be coming from shelter animals that were euthanized, cats and dogs. And if you're wearing leather, if your shoes, your purse, your belt, if they're made of leather, especially if that product came from China, there's a good chance that skin is the skin from a dog or a cat. So another reason why you should go vegan. Another reason why you should go vegan. So many reasons to go vegan. Yeah, and I would encourage you to pay a visit to your local animal shelter, volunteer, donate, foster, adopt. There's so many animals, not just the cows and the pigs and the chickens that are being unjustly executed every day over a stupid fucking food preference, but cats and dogs are being executed by the thousands each day just because they're homeless. I mean, we literally have rapists and child molesters put back into society every single day. I mean, child molesters and rapists never even get the death penalty, but literally every day, thousands of cats and dogs get the death penalty for just being homeless. They didn't even hurt anybody. But you have child molesters and rapists literally being set free every day. Even mass murderers. I mean, look at the Parkland shooter just last week who got spared the death penalty. He shot up, 17 kids he murdered? And his life got spared. But these cats and dogs who are completely innocent, never harmed anyone, they literally get a death sentence just because they're homeless. And fuck all of these landlords with their no pet policy. That is just bullshit. And fuck all of these employers who do not pay their employees a fair wage. Yeah, you're part of the problem too. That's why a lot of these animals are being executed, because of the greedy people who own property that do not allow their tenants to have pets, because of these employers who rip their, like, literally, America, the land of the free. Yeah, the land where it's free for the rich to rob the poor blind. And it's just ridiculous that, people are not being paid a fair wage. And that's another reason why, because people can't even afford to feed themselves. It's like, how can they afford to go to an animal shelter and adopt a cat or a dog when they can't even feed themselves? So, yeah, I'm just mad at the whole world. Just all fucked up all around. Everything about everything is just fucked up. And then you got people here, literally here, just defending animal abuse. Because that's what you're doing with your meat emojis. You're just here to promote animal abuse. Like, if you have no interest in going vegan, just fucking go away. Like, why parade around the fact that you have no compassion or decency? Oh, yeah, yes. Most human ethical systems value humans over other animal life. But hey, buddy, I'm not asking you to save an animal's life over saving a human's life. I'm asking you simply to fucking eat something else that's actually much better for your health and much better for the health of the planet, okay? So you can make this out like, oh, she wants me to put animals above humans. Well, actually, yeah, I put animals way above humans, okay? I mean, to be quite honest, like, non-human animals aren't the ones destroying the planet. Humans are literally destroying the planet, okay? And it's mainly due to their nasty habit of eating animal carcasses and animal secretions. But see, I don't even give a shit whether you care about animals or not, because I'm not saying, hey, choose an animal's life over a human's life. I'm simply saying choose something plant-based over killing an animal. And in the process of choosing something plant-based, you'd actually be better off health-wise yourself. And you'd be helping the planet in the process too. But I guess that just makes too much fucking sense for you, okay? I guess that just makes too much sense. It's not good to force people to do things they don't want to do. Well, yeah, it's not good to force animals to die because, they don't want to die. But you've literally paid people to force animals to die all day long. Okay, unfortunately, I cannot force you to go vegan. Because if I could, I would. I absolutely would force you to go vegan. So, like, you're saying, oh, I'm forcing people to go vegan. So how long have you been vegan? Okay, how long have you been vegan? Since I'm forcing people to go vegan, tell me, how long have you been vegan? Because you came across my content. How long have you been vegan? See, I can't force you to go vegan. So you're just trying to distract from what I'm saying because you know what I'm saying is true and right. So you just want to turn this into like, I'm the bad guy forcing people to do things they don't want to do. When you literally pay people to force animals to die and they don't want to die, but they die because, you want to eat a meal. They literally lose their life just so you could sit down for 10 freaking minutes and eat a meal that could have easily been substituted with something plant-based. And again, much healthier for you, much more environmentally sustainable, and it's not affecting hungry people who are literally starving by, like hundreds of millions of people starving right now, as hundreds of millions of animals are being fattened for their flesh and secretions. Yeah, there's no humane way to kill someone. I don't know where you get this crazy crap from. Like, do you think there's a humane way to rape someone? Do you think there is a humane way to rob someone? How in the hell is there a humane way to kill someone? Just because you get hungry and you want to feast on their flesh. Just stop with the nonsense. There is no such way to kill someone humanely. Like treating someone nice before you kill and eat them, that's not humane. That is psychotic. That is psychotic. No, humans are animals, in case you don't know. Humans are, in fact, animals, in case you don't know. Yeah, get over yourself. Animals are someone. They are not they are not things. They are sentient creatures. So you need to stop. You know, I wonder what other forms of discrimination you engage in. Like, you know, like here you're literally a speciesist. You're a speciesist. You're a human supremacist. So what other forms of discrimination do you engage in? No, that's not true. Read Joseph Poor's study, Poore. He's a researcher from Oxford University. And he and other researchers at Oxford concluded, after doing an extensive study of over 40,000 farms, that going vegan is absolutely the best way to save the planet. And reduce CO2 levels and methane levels. Human supremacy. Oh my God. Yeah, human supremacy is literally destroying the planet. So yeah, I guess I'm going to turn into, you know, it's just so hard for me because like I said, there's just so many, like right at this very second, there are thousands of animals being slaughtered. So yeah, it's so hard for me to stop advocating for animals because I really wish I could just clone myself and just advocate for them 24/7. Because yeah, like I'm about to sign off and go take a shower, and then I get to climb into my nice comfy bed, you know, turn down the temperature and make it nice and cool and comfy for me, while literally tens of billions of animals are living in pure hell right now. You know, living in overcrowded, shit-filled sheds where ammonia is literally burning their eyes, burning their lungs, burning their skin for those that are just crippled and not able to move. So yeah, it's so hard for me to just sign off and shut up about this because, like I'm saying, there are literally billions and billions and billions of animals suffering right at this very moment for no reason, just because of a taste preference. And the planet's being destroyed in the process, and all people are doing by consuming these products is literally making themselves sick. Giving themselves cancer, giving themselves heart disease, giving themselves cerebrovascular disease, giving themselves kidney disease, giving themselves type 2 diabetes. It's just craziness, craziness, craziness. So I know every time I go live, I know that I get at least a few people to consider going vegan. So that's all I can do. So that's all I'm going to continue to do. And maybe as time goes on, I can, you know, perfect my my skills and maybe become a better advocate for animals, getting more and more people to go vegan. Yeah, animals also eat humans. So are you saying that we should legalize murder? Because, hey, well, you know, lions kill humans, so why can't I kill a human? Because, you know, didn't you just hear that story about that lion that killed that human? I should be able to kill humans too because a lion did it. I mean, come on. Like, you literally want to base your behavior off of wild animals when you're supposed to be a civilized human being. I mean, like, it's just so crazy what you people try to do to, like, justify what you're doing to these animals. Eating food is different than murder. No, it's not. Not when you're literally having animals' heads chopped off all day, all night. For every non-vegan product you consume, you're having an animal's head chopped off. I mean, how is that okay? How is that okay to chop someone's head off just because you get hungry and you don't want to eat something like plant-based that's much healthier and much more environmentally sustainable? And then all these people that just want to turn this into a joke. This is not a joke. I mean, we're talking about innocent creatures literally suffering and literally being slaughtered in a slaughterhouse. You know, like, seriously, any teachers out there, you need to take your students, because I know a lot of these commenters here are literally like teenagers who are still in school. So it would be nice if these teachers could literally take these kids to these factory farms and slaughterhouses and let these children literally come face to face with their victims. Have those children go into those farms and smell what those animals have to smell, see what those animals have to see, hear what those animals have to hear. Then take them to a slaughterhouse and let them watch those animals being forced to the kill floor with the terror in their eyes, listening to them scream, watching them squirm and try to, like, turn around and run the fuck out of that hell. I guarantee a lot of kids would go vegan if they were, you know, told the truth and given the choice to be vegan. It's funny how people are like, oh, you like vegans like to force your beliefs on everybody. No, you animal abusers are forcing your beliefs on your children, tricking them into eating animals, tricking them into thinking that it's normal, that it's necessary, that it's natural, when none of this is true. It's certainly not necessary to consume animal products. In fact, the more animal products you consume, the more risk you have of heart disease, kidney disease, cerebrovascular disease, causing another pandemic. And certainly nothing natural is happening in the animal agriculture industry. Step one in the process of producing those animal products on store shelves and that are sold in that school cafeteria, they literally masturbate the male animals, force them to ejaculate, to steal their semen, to force it into the female animals, to force them to reproduce. They call it artificial insemination, but it's literally sexual assault, and it's bestiality, because sexual relations between a human and an animal is bestiality. And if those students learn the truth, I guarantee most of them would go vegan, especially, you know, if they were able to try some vegan options and could see that the vegan options in most cases actually taste better. Like, the vegan ice cream tastes better than the ice cream made from freaking fluid that comes from a cow's infected udder. Like, imagine that. Yeah, the vegan ice cream actually tastes better and is better for you. Not that, you know, ice cream, you know, filled with sugar is good for you, but the vegan ice cream is going to be less bad than the ice cream made from cow's milk that's literally carcinogenic. Yeah, actually causes cancer, in case you don't know. So I'm going to leave it right there. My battery's going to die in like 10 seconds, and it's 1:15, and I'm going to take a shower, go to bed, and I'll be back again tomorrow. Maybe I'll go live from the Veg Fest.